What if the person you share your secrets with is silently plotting to erase you from their world? Picture this. They're sitting across from you, sipping coffee, their laughter echoing yours, their smile so genuine it feels like a warm hug. But beneath that charm, there's a darkness, a cold, calculated wish to see you gone, not just from their life, but from existence itself. Sounds like a plot twist from a psychological thriller, doesn't it? But here's the chilling reality. This could be unfolding in your life right now, hidden behind the mask of someone you trust. The scariest threats don't come from strangers in shadowy corners. They come from the people who know your routines, your fears, your heart. Today, we're tearing down the facade to reveal 5 sinister signs that someone doesn't just dislike you, they want you out of the picture for good. These aren't guesses or wild theories. They're rooted in psychological patterns that could save your life or someone else's. Are you ready to face the truth lurking in the shadows of your relationships? Let's dive in. Before we jump into the deep end, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. Trust me, after this, you'll never look at a friendly face the same way again. All right, let's get started with sign 1, the silent observer. Imagine someone watching you, not with a casual glance over their phone, but with the intensity of a hawk tracking its prey. This isn't your overly curious neighbor who peeks through their curtains or a random social media follower liking your vacation photos. No, the silent observer is something far more unsettling. They're deliberate, methodical, almost surgical in their approach. They don't just notice you, they study you like you're a puzzle they're determined to solve. Your morning run at 6:30 a.m., they've got it memorized. The exact moment you swing by the corner store for milk, they've clocked it. The way you order your latte, 2 pumps of vanilla, extra foam, they know it, even if you've never mentioned it to them. Ever had someone drop a detail about your life so specific it sent a shiver down your spine? That's a silent observer at work. What makes this behavior so insidious is how it blends into the background of your life. They show up where you are, your gym, your favorite coffee shop, the dog park, always at the precise moment you're there. At first, it feels like a quirk of fate, a charming coincidence. Wow, we must be on the same schedule, you think, chuckling as you wave them off. But then it happens again, and again, and again. Your stomach twists, and a quiet voice in your head whispers, "Is this really just chance?" Spoiler alert, it's not. These people aren't stumbling into your orbit by accident. They're mapping your routines with the precision of a chess grandmaster, collecting data like a detective building a case file. Let me tell you about Christine, a mid-level manager with a packed schedule and a no-nonsense attitude. After a messy breakup, she started noticing her ex-boyfriend Mark popping up everywhere. He'd be at the same coffee shop where she grabbed her morning espresso, the same hiking trail she'd started visiting to clear her head, even the new gym she joined across town to avoid him. At first, she brushed it off, thinking, he's just struggling to let go. She'd see him leaning against a wall, scrolling through his phone, and tell herself it was nothing. But then she noticed something unsettling. Mark wasn't just there. He knew her new habits, her new routes, her new haunts, even after she'd gone out of her way to change them. She'd switched grocery stores, taken a different commute, even started working out at odd hours. Yet there he was, always in the background, never confrontational, just present. Her friends laughed it off, calling it an obsession, urging her to relax. But Christine's gut screamed otherwise. When she finally confronted the pattern, she discovered Mark wasn't just watching, he was planning. His coincidences were premeditation, a blueprint for something far darker than a broken heart. The silent observer thrives on your hesitation, banking on the fact that society has trained us to dismiss subtle patterns as paranoia. We're told to be polite, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to ignore that nagging feeling in our chest. But predators weaponize that doubt. They count on you second-guessing yourself, convincing yourself you're overreacting. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once warned, "The wise person is vigilant, not just of others, but of their own peace and order." When someone disrupts that peace, showing up too often, knowing too much, lingering without a clear reason, it's not destiny aligning the stars. It's a red flag waving in your face. So if someone's always in your orbit, always a little too aware of your moves, don't ignore it. Your discomfort isn't overthinking. It's your survival instinct kicking into high gear. Honor it. Now, let's shift gears to sign 2, the saboteur strategy. Have you ever felt like your life is unraveling? Like the threads holding your world together are snapping one by one? Your boss suddenly questions your work ethic, eyeing you with suspicion you don't deserve. Your friends grow distant, dropping cryptic hints that you've changed or aren't yourself. Nobody's outright accusing you of anything, but the vibe is off, and you're left standing in the wreckage of your relationships, wondering, what the hell is happening? That's a saboteur at work, and their game is as cunning as it is cruel. Social psychology reveals a disturbing truth. Even a single lie about someone, even if it's later debunked, can permanently taint how others perceive them. Saboteurs know this, and they wield it like a master manipulator, orchestrating a silent campaign to dismantle your world from the inside out. Picture them moving like phantoms, whispering just the right words to just the right people at just the right moment. To your coworker, they murmur, "I'm a little worried they're not keeping up with their tasks, aren't you?" To your best friend, they sigh, "Have you noticed they've been acting kind of distant lately? Maybe even a bit toxic?" Each comment is small, vague, slippery, impossible to pin down or confront. They never make a bold accusation. That'd be too obvious, too easy to call out. Instead, they plant seeds, tiny sparks of doubt that grow into wildfires of mistrust. The genius of their strategy is its invisibility. Each incident feels isolated, unrelated, so nobody, not even you, connects the dots until your support system is in shambles. I saw this play out with a friend named Jake, a graphic designer with a thriving freelance business. Out of nowhere, his life started falling apart. His boss began questioning his deadlines, even though Jake was meticulous about his work. His colleagues started giving him the cold shoulder, exchanging glances he couldn't decode. Then his biggest client dropped him, citing a rumor that Jake was cutting corners. Jake was floored, scrambling to figure out what went wrong. He spent sleepless nights replaying conversations, doubting his own performance, wondering if he'd somehow messed up. It wasn't until months later that he traced it back to a single coworker, Emily, who'd been innocently dropping hints about his work ethic to anyone who'd listen. By the time Jake realized it was a coordinated attack, the damage was done. His reputation was bruised, his confidence was shattered, and his client list was half its size. That's the saboteur's endgame, not just to hurt you, but to leave you isolated, questioning your own reality. What makes this strategy so insidious is how it preys on your emotions. You start doubting yourself, wondering if you are unreliable, if you have changed. The Stoics warned about this kind of manipulation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But when a saboteur is at work, the obstacle isn't a challenge to grow from. It's a toxic fog that clouds your clarity. The more you react, the more you try to defend yourself or clear your name, the deeper you sink into their trap. You're fighting shadows and they're counting on it. So how do you fight back? Anchor yourself in evidence. Keep meticulous records of your work, your conversations, your truth, emails, texts, timelines, anything that grounds you in reality. Surround yourself with people who know your character, who won't be swayed by whispers, and above all, trust that your integrity will outshine their lies. The truth, like the soul, has a way of enduring, even when the world feels like it's turning against you. Next up, sign 3, the false friend facade. This one's a gut punch because it exploits our deepest human need: connection. Imagine someone who seems to materialize out of thin air, transforming from a distant acquaintance into your new best friend overnight. They're all in, asking about your dreams, your fears, the scars you carry from your childhood. They show up to help with errands, charm your family with their wit, linger in your workspace with a smile that feels like a warm summer breeze. At first, it's intoxicating. Finally, you think, someone sees me, really sees me. But here's the chilling reality. They're not here to know you. They're here to own you, to map every corner of your life for their own purposes. The false friend isn't building a bond. They're building a database. Every detail you share, every vulnerability you reveal is another tool in their arsenal. Your work schedule? They file it away for later. Your insecurities about your career, their ammunition for manipulation. Your past traumas, the ones you've only shared with a trusted few, they're leverage, waiting to be used against you. The Stoic philosopher Seneca nailed it when he said, "A friend is someone you trust with your soul, but trust must be earned, not given to anyone who smiles." These predators know how to play the part, mirroring your emotions, sharing just enough of their own struggles to seem authentic. But it's all a performance, a carefully choreographed dance to lower your defenses and gain access to your world. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who's too interested, too fast? Their questions feel personal, almost invasive, but they wrap it in such warmth that you let it slide. They start showing up everywhere: your family dinners, your coffee runs, your office happy hours. It feels like support, but it's surveillance. I heard about a woman named Sarah who met a friend like this at a local book club. This new friend, Lisa, was all charm, always ready with a listening ear or a thoughtful gesture. Sarah, going through a rough patch in her marriage, opened up about her late-night work habits, her fears of being alone, her struggles. Lisa soaked it all in, nodding sympathetically, her eyes soft with understanding. But then Sarah noticed Lisa asking oddly specific questions. "So you're home alone most nights, right?" Or, "Does your husband check in when he's away?" It wasn't until Lisa started showing up uninvited, even borrowing Sarah's spare key without asking, that Sarah realized this wasn't friendship. It was reconnaissance, a calculated move to infiltrate her life. The false friend's power lies in how good it feels at first. You're finally being seen, understood, valued. But behind that comforting presence is a mind mapping your world with the precision of a cartographer charting unclaimed territory. So, how do you protect yourself? Slow things down. Guard your personal details like they're priceless treasures, because they are. Ask yourself, why does this person suddenly care so much about the intimate details of my life? True friendship grows like a tree, steady, rooted, gradual, built on mutual trust over time. Sabotage, on the other hand, moves like a wildfire, fast, consuming, and destructive. Trust isn't about who makes you feel safe in the moment. It's about who keeps you safe when your back is turned. Be kind, be open, but be wise. Because when someone rushes into your life with too much intensity, it's not connection, it's camouflage. Now let's talk about sign 4, escalating aggression. This sign is like a storm brewing on the horizon, subtle at first, but deadly if you ignore the warning signs. It starts with a comment that feels just a little off, maybe a joke with a dark, jagged edge. "I could totally take you out right now," they say, laughing like it's the funniest thing in the world. Or they drop a casual mention of violence, something meant to sound edgy or cool, but leaves a sour taste in your mouth. You tell yourself it's just their sense of humor, that you're reading too much into it. But deep down, you know it's not funny. These aren't slips of the tongue. They're deliberate tests, probes to see how far they can push your boundaries before you push back. Let me tell you about Leah, a young woman who moved into a new apartment complex after landing her first job out of college. She met Adam, a neighbor who seemed awkward but friendly, always offering to carry her groceries or chat in the elevator. At a building cookout, Adam made a strange comment that caught her off guard. "I'd be the perfect killer. No one would ever find the evidence." Everyone laughed, brushing it off as a quirky attempt at humor, but Leah felt a chill run down her spine. She told herself, "He's just weird, not dangerous." But Adam's behavior started to shift. He'd linger in hallways, brushing past her shoulder without apologizing, his presence feeling more intrusive than friendly. Once he blocked her apartment door, claiming he just needed to talk about something trivial. Then came the moment that changed everything. Leah found a hunting knife on her doormat. No note, no explanation, just the gleaming blade, its edge catching the dim light of the hallway. The police called it a prank, but Leah wasn't convinced. She installed cameras and caught Adam trying to pick her lock at 2 a.m., a black duffel bag in hand. His journal, discovered later, outlined her routines, her favorite places, and a chilling timeline labeled execution window. This is the terrifying truth. Aggressors don't start with overt violence. They start with subtle cues, conditioning you to tolerate behavior that grows darker and more threatening over time. They're testing your fear, your boundaries, your willingness to stand up for yourself. The Stoic Seneca said, "He who is forewarned is forearmed." If someone's jokes feel like veiled threats, if they're testing your physical space or studying your reactions, that's not a personality quirk. It's a warning sign flashing in neon. Document every interaction, dates, times, exact words. Trust your instincts and take action before it escalates further. Ignoring this could cost you more than your peace of mind. It could cost you everything. Finally, sign 5, the patient predator. This is the most dangerous sign of all, because these people don't act on impulse or emotion. They play a game so long, so calculated, it's almost invisible. Imagine someone who blends into your life, like they were always meant to be there. Your coworker who asks about your weekend plans with a disarming smile, their voice dripping with warmth. Your neighbor who waters your plants when you're away, always ready with a wave and a kind word. The friend who remembers your birthday better than your own family, sending you thoughtful gifts year after year. They're kind, dependable, the kind of person you'd never suspect in a million years. But beneath that calm, polished exterior, they're waiting, sometimes for months, even years, for the perfect moment to strike. What makes the patient predator so terrifying is their discipline, their unshakable patience. They don't need quick revenge or dramatic confrontations. They thrive on time, on the slow, steady collection of your trust. Every conversation is a data point. Every favor they do a step toward creating a false sense of security. They ask about your future plans, not out of care, but to know when you'll be vulnerable, when you're out of town, when you're alone, when your guard is down. They're not emotional, they're strategic, moving with the precision of a chess player planning 10 moves ahead. The Stoic Epictetus warned, "Our greatest threat is what we overlook while assuming the world operates on fairness." And that's their genius. They seem so normal, so safe, that you never see the betrayal coming until it's too late. I heard about a man named Tom, a small business owner with a tight-knit circle and a thriving company. He had a friend named Mike, who was always there, helping with deliveries, showing up to company barbecues, even offering to watch Tom's house during vacations. Everyone loved Mike's easygoing vibe, his knack for making people feel at ease. But Tom started noticing odd patterns. Mike would ask strangely specific questions like, "So you're always alone at the warehouse late, huh?" Or, "Ever worry about break-ins at your place?" His helpfulness started feeling like surveillance, his presence more calculated than casual. When Tom's business was vandalized, he assumed it was random, until he found Mike's fingerprints on a broken lock. Mike had been planning a theft for months, using Tom's trust as his way in. The patient predator doesn't just want your loyalty, they want your downfall, and they'll wait as long as it takes to make it happen. So, how do you stay safe from someone this cunning? Be slow to hand out deep trust, especially to those who seem to accelerate closeness without a clear reason. Guard your plans like they're state secrets. Keep your boundaries sacred, even with the nice ones. You can be kind, but don't confuse kindness with blind access. The Stoic in you must stay awake, especially when everything seems fine, because that's when the predator is most dangerous. They don't make mistakes. They wait for your mistake. The one moment when your routine breaks or your defenses drop. That's when they strike, and because you trusted them, you never saw it coming. Let's bring this home with a reality check. If any of these signs, silent observers, saboteurs, false friends, escalating aggressors, or patient predators, brought a specific person to mind, don't brush it off. Your gut's screaming for a reason, and it's not paranoia. It's your survival instinct kicking into overdrive. Someone who dislikes you might roll their eyes or talk behind your back, but someone who wants you gone, they study your every move, sabotage your world, smile to your face, escalate their threats, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. That's not drama, that's danger, pure and simple. Before we close, do 2 things to protect yourself. First, save this video. These signs might hit differently when your instincts flare up again, and you'll want to revisit them. Second, check out our next video on spotting covert narcissists, because these tactics often go hand in hand with deeply manipulative personalities. Knowledge is your first line of defense, but action is what keeps you alive. If this resonated with you, subscribe to stay one step ahead of the game, and share this with someone who might need it. It could literally save a life. Stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, the devil doesn't come with horns and a pitchfork. He comes wrapped in a smile you're tempted to trust. Trust wisely, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, we just peeled back the curtain on some heavy, unsettling truths, didn't we? If this video left you rethinking someone in your life, a coworker, a friend, maybe even a neighbor, don't ignore that feeling. These 5 signs aren't just red flags. They're a wake-up call to protect yourself in a world where danger often hides behind a disarming smile. So what's your next step? Keep your eyes open, your instincts razor sharp, and your circle tight. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which sign gave you chills, or share a story that's got you questioning someone's motives. Your experience could be the spark that helps someone else see the truth. And if this hit home, smash that like button and subscribe to keep these eye-opening insights coming your way. Share this video with a friend who needs to hear it, because spreading knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Stay vigilant, stay strong, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, trust wisely and keep your guard up.